We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah. Biafra is our home. I
reminisce way back 1967. Death toll and the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abaganazo Bunigwe was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is time of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh yeah, people of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh yeah.
What's that, Martin? We're not fighting each other. We know where we're going. We're going to get Biafra. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the Rubicon, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I may be, Biafra will come. If I'm dead, it's even better because it will come far more quicker. I can assure you. If Biafra is fighting for you, no one will touch your property. If you're fighting alone, you're bound to lose it. So Biafra is the best. We will become the 16th member country of ECOWAS. If Nigeria doesn't release those properties, then we'll take them to court and we'll get them back. Even twice the value. The Jews had investments all over the world. Most of the priceless artifacts and paintings belonged to many families in Germany. It was stolen by the Nazi Party. Do you know that? Eventually they got everything back with compensation on top of it. That's what we're going to do. If you touch our investments, we'll come back for you. And we'll know where we can get it from. So there is nothing for anyone to worry about. It's only if I'm not stopping you from being a Nigerian, if you are born on the streets of Lagos and you want to be a Lagosian and your name is Adama, oh, well and good. There's no problem.
Onye si na akata anya ahụhụ ma ọ bụ na anyị fe arụsị anyị wee na-efe arụsị igwe were iwe gị na ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị konye ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị n'iyi okwu ebepụ ya isi anyị pụta anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọ bụ anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha aga n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri ọya nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra bụ ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm jiri ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwuo sịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwuo ekwa sịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị anya ka isi na-ebu ndị iro anyị anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akwa ọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizoba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro dị na anyị bụ ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ọjọọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe dịtụ ozu ọgbọgọwa memilere Goliath Chineke nna nke igwe ruo memile Fero sikwa otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị ga-ebi ka o wee taa akọkọ ikiri ụtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụ nwa bụ ekekere n'igwe n'ụwa onye ọbụla kere gị n'oge malite n'oge ọgwụgwụ kama anyị onwe anyị gwa anọkwa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama ma akpọ na okwu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe na-ekebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu abịa ma
Welcome. Thank you for joining. Please like and share to other platforms. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors to join us on this very evening program. As we promise that we are going to come back this evening to bring more updates. More updates on the 1 million march of Nnamdi Kanu. This is going to be a very, very mighty move. It is not stopping. Don't think that it is just for one day and it will end. It will continue. And it's going from state to state. It is planned to be hosted from state to state. So we are bringing you the update once again for you to know. Nigeria cannot run away from what is happening. And by the way, remember that in this platform, we don't come here to instigate violence. We don't come here to preach hate. We don't come here to attack people or individuals. All we do is to present information to the whole world. The 1 million march of Nnamdi Kanu was a very big success. Many people attended and many more are still going to come along. It is going to be going from state to state as planned. It is not stopping in Abia state. It is going to move from Aba to other region, to other zone as they have scheduled it. It was a very big success, even though we know that the Zoological Republic Terrorist Army always do what they will do. They try to stop them, they try to attack them, they try to push their tear gas, they try to provoke the protesters, but you know that the protesters have always been peaceful. Every protest that Biafrans have held has always been peaceful. They have never engaged in anything that is unlawful. The only people that keep on making the protests chaotic is the Nigerian government. They have been doing it and they continue to do it. But I bet you the international community is watching this time. They are watching very, very closely. And I bet you they cannot escape what is coming. The release of Nnamdi Kanu is imminent. They can't stop it. I don't care whether they play politics or they don't play politics. What concerns me and what matters for me is our Supreme Nnamdi Kanu release. I want him out. However he comes out, I don't want to know. And that is the demand everybody is making. Speaking loud and loud and loud. You know, when we make our quest for release of Nnamdi Kanu, their media will pretend as if they are not seeing it. Their media, they even want them not to televise it. But it doesn't matter. Whether the media show it or not, we in the social media, we expand it to the world. You go to X, you will see it. Go to Facebook, you see it. You go to all platforms, you will see it. They can't hide it, no matter how they try. Look at their military. Everywhere. Holding their gun. They are there. Holding gun against protesters. Why Boko Haram is dealing with them in their camps. Boko Haram is in their camp dealing with them, but here they are here displaying heavy gun. But they cannot face terrorists. They cannot face kidnappers. All they know is to come and begin to attack protesters. That is all they know. Look at them. Look at their faces. Look at their faces. Terrorizing the people of the Southeast is what they understand. But they cannot go and terrorize the terrorist that is terrorizing them. They cannot terrorize the terrorist that is terrorizing them. It's only where the Biafras are that they will get their power. But we will not stop. The more they try to stop us, the more stronger we get. So let us go to their media and let's show you what their media reported and how their media reported what is going on. Even though they try to run away, you know they can't run away. Their media. Let's see how their media reported.
Well, let's now head to Abia State now, where activists of Moyele Showere joined a mass protest in Aba, dubbed the 1 Million Man March, as demonstrators took to the streets demanding the unconditional release of detained IPOP leader Nnamdi Kanu. Addressing a large and enthusiastic crowd on Wednesday, Showere called on President Tinubu to free Nnamdi Kanu, arguing that his continued detention is political persecution for refusing to abandon the Biafran self-determination struggle. He also criticized the heavy military presence in Aba, asking why those same soldiers could not be deployed to Zamfara to tackle terrorism. Let's take a look. We're talking about more or less red carpets for chiefs. Well, Rufai, Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention since 2021, and the calls for his release have never stopped. From courtrooms to street protests, the solution many believe is not legal, it is political. President Tinubu has the power to initiate dialogue to pursue a resolution, but will he do so? Those are the questions, and I don't know the effect of this 1 million man march. at this moment. In fact,
the answer what people are saying. The solution is likely political. So there is one part of the permutation, and please, it's a permutation. It's an opinion by some people. It's not based on any facts. It's not empirical. That President Tinubu might try to use this Nnamdi Kanu case to play a political game leading up to the election, which might be his final strategy leading up to the elections. It's not based on facts, it's an opinion. Some people like Rose said, hopefully, that maybe he will release him close to the election. Because when you look at it, see, in as much as we condemn the methods at which it was done, let us not forget the fact that there is marginalization against the Igbos. Yes, against other ethnic groups in this country, but there's high marginalization against the Igbos. I mean, take for instance, I think we make this argument when we went there. Since we've returned to democracy, why can't an Igbo man become president? Yoruba man, Hausa man, Ijaw man has become president. Why can't an Igbo man become president? At least in this country, after the Civil War, there was a consensus of some sort by the two political parties. And Igbo men were both running mates in the 79 elections. Why can't we go one step further? That's just the question. I know some people argue and say, oh, competence should not be based on so and all of that. I get the argument. But are you telling me that there is no Igbo man that is competent enough to be president? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a consensus that the reason why we had two Yoruba men on the ballot in 1998-1999 elections was a way to compensate the Yoruba people for what had happened to MKO Abiola. Can we also be intentional? Because I feel to a large extent, even if it's just one term or two terms, an Igbo person, becomes president in this country. And I must have to add, power is not a la carte. The person must work for it. It will shift a lot of the narrative. I mean, when people say, oh, might be marginalized and all of that, we can now say, an Igbo man has become president now. But as it is today, to make that argument is not buoyant enough. And these are part of the things Nnamdi Kanu is talking about and the accusation. At some point, it was Ralph Wasreki. That marginalization argument still gives traction to Nnamdi Kanu. Tomorrow, another president can pick him up that region. So let's just not be careful. Let's see how we can do this politically.
So you're up for a political solution for that?
We will continue to do what we are doing, and we will continue to mount our pressure. We are no longer interested in their presidency or in their governance. All we want is freedom. To your tent, O Israel, everybody the Nigeria we are talking about has even ended. We appreciate for the fact that at least somebody recognized the marginalization, the evil that is done against them, the injustice. So it's not even about the marginalization, the injustice against the Igbo people. That injustice is so much. How are you going to correct the injustice? All the way from the Igbo coup, the injustice on Igbo coup that drove them to the civil war. First of all, the pogrom. After the pogrom, the civil war, where millions of lives were lost. How are you going to compensate for that? So why do we have to beg to be president? Why do Igbos have to beg to be president? Why do people have to beg on behalf of Igbos to be president? It means they are not part of the contraption called Nigeria, and we cannot be part of it. There is no need pretending about it. There's no need begging, no need. We will continue to demand for the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu, and it is not going to stop. The 2 million march or 1 million march is just a beginning, and the show already made it clear. It will continue until Nnamdi Kanu is released unconditionally. It is not stopping. Let them continue to play all their games.
There will be more, except if common sense prevail and they resolve the problem. But now we are planning a nationwide protest for Nnamdi Kanu. The city involved Lagos, Port Harcourt. While we were in Port Harcourt today, people were even upset that we did not include Port Harcourt in the Aba setup, our plan for Aba. So we said we're going to do it, that it is for us, a task that must be done. That Nnamdi Kanu granted freedom because he has not committed any offense known to law. It was the worst judicial pronouncement of 2025, probably globally. It was a sham trial. The conclusions didn't align with the evidence, and the judge just read something that had been written for him by someone else. And as you know, it was a kind of a decision or commission he did so that he can get his own promotion to the Court of Appeal, which happened almost immediately after he delivered that very scandalous judgment. So the struggle continues until Nnamdi Kanu is returned back to rejoin his family and the family of freedom fighters that he has been leading since the start of the struggle. It is a struggle that has started since Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition from Kenya, even before then. But you are also aware that last year we had a massive protest in Abuja that shut down the city of Abuja, the federal capital territory, entire election. And we did tell them then that if Nnamdi Kanu is not granted bail, granted freedom, the protest they thought it was a joke. That's why we took it to Aba yesterday. That is his home state.
So you have heard it that the protest is just beginning. It will continue from state to state. It's a nationwide protest. And everybody should encourage the people that organize us, more especially Shore. Shore is making a very great sacrifice. It doesn't matter. We might not agree with him in everything, but is he making an impact? Definitely he's making an impact. Everybody must not be the same. We must not use the same method. We must not speak the same way. So Shore has chosen his own path and he is consistent, very consistent. And that is one of the qualities that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, when he sees it in somebody, he doesn't joke with that person. Consistency. When Mazen Nnamdi Kanu sees that you are consistent, he will love you with all his heart. And I bet you that Shore has been very consistent in justice. You might not like the way he's going about it. We might not agree in all his method, but is he doing something? He is definitely consistently doing what he has to do. And I bet you, prepare for more protests to come. Because I said it in the morning that it is not just one. This is just the beginning. It is from state to state. You had Shore confirming it. That it's going to be from state to state. And we are going to be here waiting and watching, supporting and promoting every single thing that has to be done until when it is completely done. So let us go to their media and see some of other events that they have in their media. A lot of things has happened. Nigeria is gone and gone. I saw a video where the terrorists were displaying the money they collected. Terrorists were displaying the money, ransom they collected from people. Look at it. See? $150 million collected as ransom. 150 million naira collected as ransom. You see terrorists. They are shouting Alhamdulillah. 150 million naira. 150 million. The terrorists collected. You see them celebrating. In a country, and they will collect the money, they will use their phone, they will upload it online, they will show people that they have collected the money, and your government will not track them. But if you stay in your room and talk anything about government, they will track you in your room. If you say something about the government, they will come right in your room and track and capture you. But look at terrorists celebrating the receipt of money, receipt of ransom. They celebrate it. They are happy about it. And nobody does anything. It is a shame. It is a shame. Let us go to their media and see some of their disgrace again. Let's bring to the world some of their disgrace and misfortunes.
Practice that discourage the acceptance of rejection from some host countries. Some of the countries, the new home. Fresh diplomatic hurdles have emerged for Nigeria after some of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's newly appointed ambassadors reportedly faced rejection from some host countries. Some of the countries the new envoys had faced others, it was learned, included India, a country where a rule exists that an administration is not allowed to send an ambassador when it is less than 2 years of reign. It was reported that India signaled its refusal to accept Nigeria's ambassador's designate to New Delhi, Mohammed Dahir, citing a diplomatic practice that discouraged the acceptance of ambassadors from governments with less than 2 years left in office. Joining us on this show to discuss this new development around the newly appointed ambassadors is Kunle Fagbemi, a political scientist and national security scholar. Good morning, Dr. Fagbemi. Thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Dr. Abachi. It's good to have us come back to the studio to discuss this subject matter.
Well, Dr. Fagbemi, based on our previous conversations, it will appear that this, let's say it looks like an embarrassment, was foreseeable, was foretold, because I recall you also saying in previous conversations that these countries, you can't just impose an ambassador on them. They will have to grant their, agreement, and that agreement could take months. And that, in fact, some of these appointed ambassador designates may never, in fact, go for any posting. I thought we discussed that the last time you were here. But, what do you think? We know of India. Are there other countries that you have heard of who are saying, well, let Nigeria sort out their election first before we take ambassadors from them?
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruben Abaji. And it's very disturbing that when we have the opportunity of holding the conversation of February 10 this year, which is a month plus ago, we did draw attention to all these issues and noted that we have these hurdles that we are going to cross. Unfortunately, some apologists gave the feedback and said we were speculating. Not just that we were speculating, that we were not patriotic, and some even went to the extent of claiming that we were trying to bring strange variables into the dynamics. Unfortunately, the chicken has come home to roost. On that February 10, I used a phrase which some of them came back to say were too strong to have been used, that we were operating a dysfunctional diplomatic practice, foreign affairs management, and the presidency of the Nigerian state. And you will recall that on that occasion, we cautioned and pleaded with the incumbent special advisor on information, that is our brother Bayo Ononoga, to be kindly mindful of the way he issues statements. One of the statements that came out from him, which has again irritated and exacerbated the issues, has to do with the fact that you do not publicize the names and the postings of any ambassador designate until such an ambassador designate has undergone the induction course. Painfully, that was done. And in that same instrument that he issued on behalf of the presidency of the Nigerian state, he drew attention to the fact that they had only received agreement concerning 2 of those ambassadors designates, which in itself was given a pointer to other stakeholders to know that they too can decide not to do the needful of granting the agreement that will allow these men and women to report at their duty posts. We use the phrase dysfunctional presidency because ideally you would have expected Ambassador Shola Enikonolayi, that is the senior special assistant to the president on foreign affairs, to have helped to moderate the issues by ensuring that the statement that will come out from Bayo Ononuga was going to be kind enough to toe the line in such a way that it will only reveal that which needed to be revealed, and ideally the information in terms of the actual postings ought not to be issued from the presidency, from the villa. It ought to have been issued from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, meaning that we have a gap between the presidency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The idea of reoperating a dysfunctional system is causing us a lot of embarrassment, to say the least. You will recall, and I can be fact-checked on this, when this administration started and introduced the 4D trajectory for the foreign policy of the Nigerian state, critics did draw attention to the fact that it was not properly consummated, and Professor Mimiko did a great piece on that. And Professor Hassan Saliu of University of Ilorin did his digest in 2025 to reflect on the way the foreign policy system and the foreign affairs diplomatic practice of the Nigerian state has been managed. And it discovered that there was a gap and a misconception that they can do a presidential diplomatic shuttle. You only can do a presidential diplomatic shuttle when you have a president who either to add a one-on-one relationship with a number of other heads of state, his brother heads of state, before he assumed office, like we had with President Olusegun Obasanjo, who was able to hit the ground running and did a number of things that helped to restore the image of Nigeria. Now we have this challenge, wherein we discovered last time we discussed this matter that people appear not to have been reading the Vienna Convention of 1961, and we noted that it is not just for you to read the Vienna Convention, you add other instruments that had come out from this Vienna Convention that is dealing with the nuances, and that is where we mentioned, specifically, we mentioned that you cannot easily deploy any ambassador when you have less than 2 years to the end of the tenure of the administration. Two, we discovered that we did caution that you do not recall ambassadors or leave any diplomatic mission for more than 90 days without an ambassador in situ. Painfully, Nigeria has fallen prey to committing a number of these gaffes, and it is unfortunate that we can claim that we have a functional Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We can now claim that whether we should now be saying congratulations to these ambassador designates that can now see when people are pleading that let us have a functional system, let the structure and systems be operated based on the rules of procedure and allow things to work. Again, may I commiserate with President Commander-in-Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he has people around him that cannot tell him the truth to his face. The truth that needed to have been told to his face was the fact that he could not recall ambassadors and not appoint within 90 days.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so the deed has been done. Unfortunately, now he's approaching his final term in office, and we're still talking about appointments and non-appointments of ambassadors. But I want to ask you about even the postings. Your thoughts on the postings, because there have been criticism around where the career ambassadors and non-career ambassadors have been posted to, saying that perhaps it's not, when you look at the demography of the personality of the persons posted, there are some important stations that should have gotten career ambassadors. the United Nations, for instance, our envoy to the United Nations is not a career ambassador. And in terms of his experience in that regard, I'd like your thoughts and your take on the particular postings of these ambassadors designate.
The buck stops on the table of any incumbent president, commander-in-chief. The ambassadors are appointed, function, operate, and report and act on the behalf of the incumbent president. So he reserves the right to determine the duty post. And based on his understanding of national interests, national challenges and development trajectory that he wants us to pursue. So in the real sense of it, we cannot discuss, interrogate, or say we are not comfortable with where he has directed that these men and women be posted. So it is a reflection of
Mr. Fagume, I quite disagree because we've just discussed the timing of his appointments. You can also very well say that it's at his pleasure. I mean, we can analyze it. We can talk about whether or not it's part of conversations, public opinion, and even in fact, suggestions or recommendations given. The back page of this newspaper, for instance, today has an article where some people even feel there's nepotism in the postings of these ambassadors. So Nigerians are concerned, and I think it's fair for us to discuss these matters, except you don't want to discuss it.
No. It's a question of the buck stops with him when he decides that this man goes to this post, that one goes to that post. It is a reflection of his personality, is a reflection of his character, is a reflection of his understanding of the national agenda and national interest. That said, it is now for us to now ask our questions. Does his personal interest actually translate to national interest? And will these people be able to cope with the dynamics of the postings that they have been assigned? You actually mentioned the United Nations. The United Nations is a portfolio and a platform where you require somebody who is able to read and follow through a number of instruments and must be willing to participate in engaging with different structures and strata of diplomatic practice, nuances, and relationships. Now, when you go appoint a businessman who before now hitherto is renowned for undertaking of interest in the economic sector, and a number of the businesses that he has gotten involved into ended up winding up. Now, you ask yourself, will this man, even though he has the paper qualifications that we all know he has, will he be able to deliver? However, if the incumbent president is saying to us, he wants this man to function in this particular portfolio, it is a reflection of his person, it is a reflection of what kind of trajectory he is interested in bringing to bear. When you now put it back and say, again, let us take a look at the deployment of somebody like a certain Lieutenant General Dambuzo, PhD, who has been assigned to China. When you assign somebody like that who has a background in military and you have this kind of opportunities, you need us to start asking the questions. Are we going to take advantage of this in such a manner that it will reflect in our national security and defense management system? Are we going to be doing procurement and mindful of the kind of procurement that we have done hitherto? Are they going to reflect in that which will service our operability, interoperability, and the assets management of the military hardwares and softwares that we are using and deploying on the Nigerian territory? Now, those are the real issues. But the point I was trying to make originally is that The president has done his job. He has told us this is who I am and this is what I want to achieve by deploying these people to the positions that they have been deployed. Albeit it, when you start asking what is the national interest implication and not the regime interest implication and not the personal interest implication for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, those are the issues. As it is now, he has shown us clearly and displayed the picture for us to see that these are the people that I really want to use, and this is where I think they can function. You are trying to bring up the dichotomy between career and non-career diplomats. And when you start discussing this, you will have to ask yourself, when you take a look at the CVs of all these individuals, you will realize that a number of them have never really been made to carve a niche for themselves, even the career ones, in specific areas. Normally, you have region-specific individuals. You recall on February 10 on this set, I did call attention to the fact that ideally to come out of this quagmire that we found ourselves, there are some people that are experts concerning some regions. Those are the ones that should quickly be deployed to help us mitigate and manage the transition of having these ambassadors designate.
So, I mean, we can talk all we want, but a lot of people are opined that the appointments have just been job for the men, job for the women. You know, people that they think they owe political favor, they give them this ambassadorial position. But the question I would like to ask you is, should that be the case that our ambassadors are people that are very loyal, people that have spoken up, people that have cross-carpeted and changed their opinions about the president? They held very, very strong, denigrating positions about the president. But all of a sudden they say, oh, I was in a position then. And that's the people they're making ambassador. Should the serious business of the representation of this country should be left in the hands of those that are very fickle with their convictions, that they can switch as quickly as there's any other government in power?
Thank you very much, Rufai. I come back to the point that it's a mirror that we have, and the person that is standing before that mirror happens to be citizen Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that transitioned on May 29, 2023 to becoming President Commander-in-Chief. If he chooses that his understanding of national interest is the one that will make him appoint and deploy people of the kind of character, background, and service trajectory like he has now done, it speaks volumes. Ideally, what we ought to be talking about is that for you to appoint ambassadors, it is defined by national interest, the foreign policy principles and guidelines of the Nigerian state that will ultimately transition and translate to the common good. Unfortunately, it is clear, like every other analyst and commentator has come to terms with, it appears that this is job for the boys, with the exception of very few of them. And unfortunately, you will realize that this has not helped us in diverse ways. If only we were operating a functional system, from the villa alone, they would have helped to govern the dynamics that led to the disclosure of the idea that they were going to recall ambassadors. Ideally, you do not recall, you appoint fresh ambassadors to replace the ones that you are recalling. So it's a seamless operation. So in the first instance, this is the first administration in recent times of the Nigerian history that is recalling and not appointing and replacing ambassadors. It is very clear that we are operating a dysfunctional system.
Okay, Dr. Fabian, very quickly, you talked about career and non-career ambassadors. I'd like you to speak to the idea of professionalism. Out of the 35 career ambassadors, 27 of them were posted to African countries. But the more important positions that, in Nigerian mentality, we say are very attractive. I don't want to use a common expression that Nigerians use. The 31 non-career ambassadors, they are all posted to Asia, Europe, America, and only 4 of them, including South Africa and Tunisia, are posted to African countries. So why? What do you think informs this judgment? Don't you think that some of those international postings will be better managed by career ambassadors who see this as their profession, rather than all these characters, wives of this, the husband of that, being sent to strategic positions?
The schools of thought out there discussing the subject matter you just raised are indicative of the fact that, one, you have a situation where a number of these individuals needed to be settled on the one hand. On the other hand, there are the opinion that some of them put pressure to facilitate their deployment to those postings, which means that we have issues with our selection processes and the like. But the most important thing that we need to talk about when you're talking about professionalism, because some have even argued that the career officials in those missions are the ones who are supposed to drive, and these non-career ambassadors that are being posted are the ones that will just give a photo finish kind of opportunity and relationship. But it is wrong of us to be deploying based on primordial sentiments, emotional sentiments, and non-national interest sentiments. And this is why I will come back to that phrase. The national interests in this case appear to be relegated to the background, and it is unfortunate that it is appearing as if we are dealing with a situation where the personal interest of the incumbent president commander-in-chief is now being reflected in these deployments, and or based on the manipulating agenda of some of his aides and people around him that were privy to this process. If that is the case, then it means that they have breached their oath of offices where they swore that they were going to do all that they will do in the best interest of the Nigerian state, and it is very unfortunate that it is not the same thing.
Thank you. This has been a very rich conversation. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us this morning. And hopefully, as we've discussed, the part of this is that those in authority will take on the gems you've highlighted this morning and run with it.
From that, will be Atiku Amination working together to stop Tinubu. That's coming from the ADC. And bring back the British colonizers again. And then it is fair to Bangladesh to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, these are the major topics of discussion for today. But before we get into all of that, there are also other interesting trending stories that we are going to work on in the course of this conversation. Good morning, Jen. Good morning. Very well, thank you.
President Bola Tinubu on Thursday held a tense nearly 2-hour closed-door meeting with Nigeria's service chiefs and newly appointed Inspector General of Police Tunji Disu at the presidential villa in Abuja amid escalating insecurity and fresh attacks on military formation. Details of the security deliberations remain undisclosed as the meeting, Disu's first formal engagement since assuming office on February 28th, comes after the killing of at least 3 commanding officers in the Northeast in a week. One of the co-hosts here, when you speak with some of the analysts, it almost seems as if it's a hopeless situation the picture is so grim. Sometimes after the show, like we say, you have to debrief because it's so bad. Well, we are hoping that things will change. I really feel for this because there's a lot of rot. He has a lot of work to do. He needs to overhaul the system because for several years, in fact, for forever, the police have become tools in the hands of the powerful people, in the hands of the politicians, the government officials. Police, they have gone beyond what they were originally set up for, and now they're even used to oppress people. People use them to oppress people. They need a whole overhaul. I feel even with the insecurity, it seems as though they will fail because even the army, the soldiers on the one hand are also grappling with military cases, and then the police also have. It's just so much. I don't know if the the state policing that they are about to introduce will change a lot of things, and I'm hoping it will, because even on the federal scale, they are grappling, and I'm just hoping that we'll see something better if and when the state policing comes
Yes, I like the fact that you keep going back to hope, hoping that hope, because hope is the only thing that can keep us alive. Hope keeps us alive because the moment the man loses hope in life, I mean, that is the beginning of his end. You have said quite a few things, that are very instructive. When you said, well, you just hope that this is not the usual routine,
Yes.
the ritual, the normal routine that when the president was then meeting on services and IDP, he comes out to the riot act, sends strong messages to
They talk tough.
They talk tough and all of that. And after like 2 or 3 days, we go back to our normal, where we are coming from. It's not surprising. And one of the major topics of discussion here is about displacement people.
Yes.
We are not talking about refugees, people that are somewhere in Niger and Cameroon and even other parts of West African, our West African neighbors. And so when the president says, well, we are not going to bow to terrorists, it's on record that it was on the page of Guardian yesterday, that within like 3 weeks or so, 65 of our soldiers, Galan soldiers, were killed by Islamic State of West Africa province, terrorists, jihadists, and all of that. 65 soldiers in a country, and we still have the chief of defense staff, we still have the chief of army staff, we still have the chief of
military formations.
Everybody, nobody's career is damaged, everybody is still doing his work, and we move on as usual. I mean, it took the prompting of security reporters, to put out that in the public. And the Nigerian military didn't agree to that until there was pressure on them. 65 soldiers in one fell swoop, killed. Within our military formation.
It's really sad.
And so you can begin to understand that when people say that, well, I think we are lackluster now, and because this is a ritual. The next thing we hear is, IGP moved to this place. People of army staff move to the northeast or to the northwest. And I keep asking, you meant to go to northeast. The terrorists will locate to the northwest. If you go to north central, they will come down to northwest. If you come to northwest, they will go back to the southeast or south. So we've actually been enveloped by insecurity. And so it goes beyond just giving out sound bites. As far as I'm concerned, it's a routine, that we are used to. Until such a point, I think the president, the take-off point, should be a point where we start by saying, well, the terrorists we have been told that are foreigners that are living in our native lands.
I thought you said they're French. You said they're French.
I said they speak French. Wherever they are, whether they speak French in Mali, they speak French in Burkina Faso, they speak French in Senegal, speak French in Niger. These are French-speaking countries, and all of them, that ethnic stock, they are one wherever they are, whether they speak English or French or their full or their local language. That's one stop. So until we get to Benue State, the president gets to Benue and Plateau and say, well, gentlemen, if they are gentle, you have to move away from here because you don't belong here. We have chased away people that originally owned this place and we are occupying here. And we are told, the thing is that we have our chief of defense staff, Minister of Defense, boldly tell us that these people are foreigners. In our own land, in a sovereign land, and all of that. And life goes on. The other day, the president's wife went to Benue State and rolled out ₦1 billion to the people that are living in Haiti. For what? For what? For health, for security. educating their children on what? And so this routine meeting, we should go beyond that. And we also hear, in the midst of the presence of America that said, well, they are coming to give us tactical operational support and intelligence, 65 of our gallant soldiers were moved down like terrorists.
I think it's,
and we are still a country.
Good morning, Moses.
Good morning, Moses.
It's horrible to think about. It's horrible to even mention that 65. I mean, if one soldier is dropped by an insurgent, the nation, the military should go to war with them. That's how it's instantly. But we saw General Buba on camera. On camera. He was dropped. And the military, Nigerians acted like nothing happened.
And you even told the military, like those are 2 weeks to admit.
Yes, it's horrible.
In general,
it's a not crime. I mean, you wouldn't be hearing this.
In normal times, really.
You wouldn't be
The
hearing
joy is a very abnormal.
And you know, for me, the very interesting part in all of this is the president is traveling soon. He's going to the UK on the invitation of King Charles. But there is trouble in the country. There is trouble within the.
Most times when he's even around, what difference?
This is the normal question I used to ask. I mean, we are used in that sense. So what does his president matter? And because he is here and terrible things are happening. And nothing happened.
I think it's high time we just accepted that we're in a full-fledged war with these guys. And also accept that the military has lost steam. And that we need, I don't know what it is we need because there's a lot of complicity. Like most people, this daily visualist says that these guys are dispersing. They are no longer concentrated in, one unit. So just like you said, once you attack them at Ngoshi, they move to somewhere else. What does that tell you? That it even appears as I don't want to say it from
we need the willpower. That's what we
need. Yeah, we need a willpower. We need a willpower.
Our soldiers.
The ones on the war front, right?
All of them. I mean, the other day he was on your
yesterday,
where the bandit was arrested, handed over to the police, and before morning, he was released. So the people the soldiers themselves are not what I'm sure the policemen that released them would not have released them by their own free will.
No, they would not. They were under pressure.
Yes, they got orders and they had to comply. It's unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate. Anyway, let's move on to another very interesting story because yes, there's a showdown in Biafra state because thousands of passionate Nigerian youths under the coalition of lovers of freedom flooded the streets in a powerful 1 million march, chanting and singing and waving massive banners demanding the immediate and unconditional release of the indigenous people of Biafra leader Nnamdi Kanu, whom they insist is a freedom fighter framed by the government, not a terrorist. Well, reported again, even more he that activists from more election will join the crowd in solidarity amplifying the fact by that Kanu's 2021 arrest in Kenya. His controversial 2025 conviction and prison and terrorism charged by a federal high court in Abuja, and his current life sentences in Sokoto prison are nothing but politically motivated persecution. Well, supporters worldwide echo that nothing justifies his continued detention while accusing the Nigerian authorities of complicity in ongoing security, turning this fast-spreading movement into a nationwide force of justice and ordinary citizens say will shape the country's unity debate. We are back to this, Nnamdi Kanu. And I was on radio yesterday, and the anchor asked me, what I meant of it. And you see, our people are very emotional. Our people are very sensitive. I must admit, and when I say our people, Nigerians generally, but let me zero it down, let me reduce it to the Igbo people, especially when it comes to the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody wants to, become logical about it or reason the other way or look for an alternative. And the moment you want to take a different route, you are anti-Nnamdi and you are anti-you and all of them. My question is, why control the protest in Aba for the release of Nnamdi Kanu? Is Nnamdi doing the same in Aba? The people that are holding it, the government, is it headquartered in Aba? So what is the impact of all of this? And history. The thing about history is that history repeats itself because men don't learn from history. For 4 good years, people have started to close shops on Mondays. And why that happened, the federal government just moves to the other way. Because that is how the Nigerian state has been structured after the Civil War. If you are from the south, well, if you want to do yourself after the war, the Nigerian state is the Even if you grow the economy of the South, Nigeria will so it's nothing more than it. So why not a protest in Aba? What do you want? And the next phase, military will do something, and they will take 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And we are going to document it. And after documenting it, we make all people know about Nnamdi Kanu. If you want to hold a protest that will make me go to Abuja now, or you go to Sokoto where people help. At least people with the government will understand, oh, these people are serious. If you continue to hold the protest in Aba, if it spirals out of control, if it spills out of control, they will unleash the police. And if police is not able to contain it, they will unleash the army.
And what if we met them down? If you hold the protest in Abuja, they will say, why is he holding Abuja? Why is it in his own state, home state? There's no protest. You hold protest in Igbo land. They say, why is he doing it in Igbo land? Why not go to Afaruku and do it? You go to Afaruku and do it. They say, why are you doing Afaruku? Is it Afaruku? Now, this one is saying, go to Sokoto. No matter what you do, people must talk. No matter what you do, people must talk. They must look for an excuse to talk. Let them continue to talk. Nnamdi Kanu is from Abia State. And to show that his people are in support of him, that protest well. And you heard Shore say that this is a nationwide protest. They are still going to have the protest in Port Harcourt. They will still have it in so many other states. Every state by state, they will have it. They started from Aba. So why are you now asking why not in Abuja? Didn't they hold the protest in Abuja? Their protest was held in Abuja. Didn't you see it? Didn't you see the protest in Abuja? Didn't you see how they fought them in Abuja? Didn't you see the tear gas and the police shooting in Abuja? Didn't you see it with your eye? It's a shame. We really need to get out of this zone. Simple.
So what is the essence of that protest? To send signal to what?
Imagine the question a human being is asking.
Okay, because Nnamdi is in detention, ask all the Igbo people nationwide to close shops on Mondays. At least it will make sense. The federal government will begin to feel that, well, looks like it is high time we move to the direction of these people. But if you are clear, you are not critical. You are not critical to the.
You see, now he's talking about closing shops on some. He is now supporting closing of shops again. He want to sit at home now. You do that one now, this same man will come here and criticize you. There is no one you will do that will not complain. Biafrans, let us continue to do anything we can. Ignore these people, their confusion, their excuses, and their nonsense, and their ranting. It's not going to lead us anywhere. Somebody in the media. What is the importance of the protest? And you are one of those who is saying that they want to know if the people are supporting him. His people are not just supporting him. Even his own hometown, they are not joining in the support. They are not doing it. If nothing else, that very protest shows that his own people are behind him. From his hometown, they are supporting him. Is that not something? Is that not something? Didn't you see the Abuja protest? Haven't we heard protests in Abuja? Did you come? Nara, mad people everywhere.
You don't even have the oil wells. I mean, you only have Abia as a Jumu state, as NDDC state. Anambra is still struggling to join. And so if you shut down the oil wells, then Nigeria moves on. Because what you produce might not be more than what you stole it, and Nigeria is still moving on. Niger Delta people, why were they able to get attention? Because they are strategic. At some point, the oil wells were locked, and federal government said, hey, gentlemen, what is it? Come, let's talk. And they started talking amnesty and all of that. If you grant Lagos, the international airport, the port authority and all of that, federal government will move their way. If you close on the market for 2 weeks, for 2 months, 3 months, nobody will listen to you. That is just the reality. A lot of people will not like what I've said, but that is my opinion. Strategically.
No, strategically.
These people are a bunch of idiots.
It's interesting, this 1 million march. It's interesting, and like you pointed out, what is the essence of it being held in Aba? Why not some people? For me, I would have said if this were to be held in Abuja, then they were making a statement. Not even Sokoto.
Didn't you see when it was held in Abuja? Hasn't it been held in Abuja? When it was held in Abuja, and they were shot with tear gas and bullet, and Showore himself are still in court for that. Showore is still going to court because of the protest that went in Abuja. Didn't these idiots see it? Why are you people so evil? Why are you so evil? Why are you so evil personified? We do sit at home, they complain. Why are you sitting at home? Oh, it's not affecting anybody. It's only affecting the people. You lock down shop. They say, why do you lock down shop? You do this. Why do you do it? You do this. You yourself that is sitting on this, what is your own job? Can you even want to These people are a bunch of this. I don't know how to describe these people that are in this their media. This is not just playing devil's advocate. If you are playing devil's advocate, play it in a way that will be reasonable. These protests have been held in Abuja. Abuja protest, you saw what transpired. You are in the media, you saw it. You are asking what is the essence of this? How can any reasonable human being be asking what is the essence of this protest? The same you will sit in this studio and you will say that, oh, people in Abia State are not sitting at home. It's only Enugu, it's only Abia. They are disturbing the place. Even Nnamdi Kanu himself, his own town is not sitting. Today, his own people have come to show solidarity with him. They started it. And you had Showore say it. Showore said it that it's going to be a nationwide protest. And yet these people are here talking. Showore said it. In case, for those who didn't see it when Showore said it, I'm going to play that Showore video again. Let me play it. Showore said it. Let it not be that you are confused.
And there will be more, except if common sense prevail and it resolve the problem. But now we are planning a nationwide protest for Nnamdi Kanu's release, which will involve Lagos, Port Harcourt. While we were in Port Harcourt today, we were even upset that we did not include Port Harcourt in the Aba setup, our plan for Aba. So we said we were going to do it for the entire country. It is for us, that's the massive government. Nnamdi Kanu is granted freedom because he has not committed any offense known to law. It was the worst judicial pronouncement of 2025, probably globally. It was a sham trial. The conclusions didn't align with the evidence, and the judge just read something that had been written for him by someone else. And as you know, it was a kind of a decision or commission he did so that he can get his own promotion to the Court of Appeal, which happened almost immediately after he delivered that very scandalous judgment. So the struggle continues until Nnamdi Kanu is returned back to the joint.
So you had Showore here say it. You just had Showore say it that they will continue. They will take it to different level. They will go to places. You had Showore say it here. And yet you are in your studio here asking on idiotic question. You had Showore say it. That is going to be a protest that is going to go nationwide. They will go nationwide. They go to other places. But all they do in here is to discredit anything we do.
And they started talking amnesty and all of that. If you grab Lagos, the international airport, the port authority and all of that, federal government will move away. If you close on the market for 2 weeks, for 2 months, 3 months, nobody will listen to you. That is just the reality. A lot of people will not like what I've said, but that is my opinion. Of strategically.
No, strategically speaking. Oh, well.
Imagine.
It's interesting, this 1 million march.
If we close market, they will not listen. Why is the state government worried about it? Why are they fighting people for the Monday sit at home? This idiot is talking. Why is the state government worried? Don't you know that the state government need to also raise money? When it affects state government, it affects federal. Don't you know that anything that affects the entire states in the southeast is going to affect the federal at the same time? Don't you know that when the state have lost legitimacy, when the people refuse to comply to the state, that they will not have their allocation? It's going to affect even the federal. I don't know how these people reason. I can't understand. They just bring this bunch of idiots to come and spew nonsense on their platforms.
Why not? For me, I would have said if this were to a statement, not even Sokoto. But
Wasn't it held in Abuja? It was held in Abuja. What did you do? What was your own contribution when it was held in Abuja?
But ultimately, I think a few individuals just see this as an avenue,
God,
to publicize themselves, make themselves look like yes, they're doing something. They are interested.
You see that people are just doing it to publicize themselves. Now they are dragging it now to show that Showore is just doing it for publicity. And you that is talking about it, some of you here are Igbos. Talking about this, what have you done? Why don't you use Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to make your own publicity in your studio where you are? Even that studio where these idiots are seated, what have you done? All you do is come to your platform. Whatever somebody do, you come and criticize it. So Showore is doing it for publicity. Is this the only protest Showore have attended? Every single protest in Nigeria, Showore is always there. He's always there. Even from the court section, from the one that was in Abuja, he's always there. How comes do you now relegate every single thing that is done to publicity? These people are evil.
That's what they call themselves.
Nonsense.
But see, for government to respond, for government to...
You know nothing about the response of government or how to hold government accountable. You don't know anything about it.
The man, Nnamdi Kanu, is that we all agree. I mean, he's been held unjustly, even though there's been a court judgment keeping him there. But I think the only time this will make impact is if it moves beyond the my people thing that my colleague said. If it moves beyond my people and becomes our people, if it becomes a Nigerian movement, I'm not saying everybody will, but then significant number of people from each segment.
You are an idiot. You are talking nonsense. What you are saying, talking is nonsense, arrant nonsense. Arrant nonsense.
The judgment of the government.
As if you are not in Nigeria. Nigeria to give you an Igbo issue as a national budget. You are a mad person.
People come out and say, okay, it's enough. It's enough.
You are a mad person.
You found him guilty. You have done this. He's been sentenced. You've made your point. Now, and you let the man get on with his life. If people come together, Nigerians come together, then this will make
dreamer,
but if it's
deceivers, bunch of idiots that come to online to deceive.
The confines of my people, it's an Igbo thing. Okay, then Igbos around the nation. I think it still would not make that much impact.
Yes, it's not, because as a matter of fact, it's still an Igbo thing.
No, it's not an Igbo thing.
Outsiders.
Make it a Yoruba thing.
Outsiders are happy,
Nonsense.
Yes, because the voice is out. If you go to places like, if you want to pay the cost of Nigeria.
No, it's an Igbo thing. Make it an Igbo thing.
If you put it out on X,
you will judge by handles like X. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of propagandists on X. There are a lot of people who operate multiple accounts. And it does.
Yes, apart from X, even if you skim through television, newspaper, and radio commentaries and all of that, a lot of people from outside the people that are happy that Nnamdi is even in this station. We have had guys that say, well, Nnamdi, in fact, they should have hanged him. Yes, people have come here to say that. And they really mean it. So it will never, ever become a national cause because they see it.
No,
as a matter of fact,
make it a national cause.
It's an Igbo problem. And the Nigerian state is constructed in such a way that the state still threatened, by any
talking from both sides of your mouth.
Igbo hegemony or Igbo tribes, Igbo insurgents. Let me use the word insurgent. So they felt threatened. They felt threatened. And once that is in the fore, people begin to begin to try to rationalize it and all of that. And that's the way I see it, as well as somebody, as some form of political analyst, using as an anchor on the show. There are some people political analysts. I've looked at these things on both sides, and that is what it is. We have two people, well-meaning people like show very, very well, and some people in the north and people in the south that say, in the south or southwest, that say, well, this thing should go beyond Nnamdi Kanu and all of that. What is good for the other person is also good for Nnamdi Kanu. The reference Buho, the reference for himself, and all of that. But at the end of the day, all of this is important. So we go back to started from. So that is where we have to go.
Right. I don't even know if, I know he's a prisoner of conscience. I don't know if he still does have that goodwill, if the original agenda, I mean, what he was actually fighting for, I don't know if he still has that goodwill. I mean, away from this million.
Well, one thing I know is he still has to follow.
He still has to follow. But I don't think.
Did you see the number of people that came out?
In fact, it just reminded me of the guy who organized the 1 million man march for Abacha. Remember the guy? His name too was Kanu as well. Well, I'm just hoping that government, I don't know, because I know that for as long as he remains in prison, all this uprising, all these protests will keep happening.
And before we move on, the pitch, I think the venue was well chosen because if the people where Nnamdi comes from, you wouldn't see it. People move from Aba.
Why would we see that?
Well, there's another story. Let's just touch on another story before we run to the papers now. In dramatic twist that made Nigerians react on social media and within political circles, businesswoman Tracy O'Hue has publicly retracted her allegations of sexual harassment and on pay, is it 250 million? Is it 250 or 250 million naira contract debt against Nigeria's Minister of Work, Senator David Umar, former Ebonyi State Governor as well. But he apologized in what some would call a heartfelt video released yesterday. I think we talked about this briefly yesterday on the air, that video. And if you watch that video, apparently it was obvious she was reading something handed to her. If we have the video, it would be good to play. But anyway, you do recall that her lawyer was on our show where he spoke that he had facts and he wouldn't get into any conversation, any litigation that he knows that there will be no facts to back it up. So regardless of all the facts, well, they have reached some sort of compromise. That's what it feels like. And O'Hiri clarified that she never met the minister in any hotel room. He said she never claimed that he tied a towel or a wrapper around himself to visit her there and never received any threats about what happened to Nayland or Nella engineers if she visited Ebonyi State. He admitted that the supply deal had no formal contract. The campaign materials were delivered, the job was done, campaign materials were delivered to his aides and was probably used for campaign purposes, probably without the minister's, the governor at the time, knowledge, without his knowledge. Well, she's come to apologize, she apologized to her family members, apologized to, but see, it's not right. There's another video I saw this morning about an individual, a press man who's talking about how he was also vetted by the minister. But he speaks to how our political office holders see themselves. I mean, we've seen political office holders threatening individuals like they will lock them up in generator houses, they will lock them up in dog cages, they would kill them and nothing will happen. Our politicians see themselves as overlords. They see themselves, and it's the people. I blame the people. I blame the people because when they come to give handouts, the people collect these handouts, and then they ask you to sit down. You whether or not it's your votes that put them there, they are there to represent you, and you have the power. Nigerians don't even know the power that they have. They have the power.
Even you don't know the power that you have. You.
Do whatever means.
You that in that studio, you don't even know the power that you have.
You have the power to remove them from power, but we just accept, all the things that they give. They tell people to sit down, they give them 500 naira, 1,000 naira, and people accept these things, and they see themselves as gods of the people, gods over the people. It's unfortunate. And now, freedom of the press is I mean, there's a threat to the freedom of the press. There's a threat to expression, and I dare say it is worse now than ever before. I dare say it is worse under this administration. People are being arrested, whisked away. People are disappearing. People are disappearing just because they challenged authority. And this is not good for a nation who is still developing. It's not good. Well, we do have the video. We'll probably take it, and then get some of the responses before we run to the papers. There you have it on the screen. Let's take a listen.
I never said, good day, Nigerians. After proper consultation with my family, friends, and legal team, and a painstaking review of events of the past 2 weeks, I have come to the conclusion that it's important we give peace a chance. I admit that Engineer Deacon David Omani, the former governor of the Boy State and the current Minister of Works, did not inform me that what happened to the Netherlands engineers would happen to me if I visit a Boy State. I do not know the Netherlands engineers except what I read about them on the internet and what I heard from people. I apologize to Engineer Deacon David Omani for the embarrassment this allegation may have caused him and his family. I sincerely apologize to his family, to my own family, friends, and everyone who felt hurt and embarrassed with what happened. I never said Engineer Deacon David Omani tied towel to meet me in a hotel room. I apologize if the allegations have been magnified and taken out of context.
Even at some point, she took a deep breath before continuing, because these are signs of some sort of oppression. Yes, yeah, duress. It's unfortunate. But the same way, this part, the Uber driver, who we were Ikweche apologized later. So basically, the people are power.
People are telling you this man was caught. But I think there's another angle to this story. I understand that there's a second 100 million that is set aside. So that is probably why she went out. There's that angle. And I tend to believe that. Because there is these apologies are kind of then you can go and strike and let it to 250 and push away. And yesterday we said something about, before yesterday, the fact that, and I said that we have gangsters in problem. Then we might have to be one of them. Yes, we may have to be the other. Look at what Larry Olainka did, to a young man a young lady that just opened, what is going on in Abuja with the work and all of that. And the personal assistant to the minister had to send her personal message threatening her. And look at what happened. The video that he talked about, I also watched that video, where a certain journalist, has been threatened. And mine keeps bragging, I'm a very dangerous person. I'm very dangerous. In Nigeria, and you are still the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I don't know why. I don't know why, but I see a pattern of the quality of leadership under this administration. It's starting from the executive, recently, they are so.
Before you go, I don't think we should lump all of them.
No,
there are
saying
ministers who are properly behaved.
Yeah, but they're seeing a trend where there's so much
high-handed.
Okay, yes, but there's. But why? They're so high-handed. They are so brazen with how they go about testing people. It's so sad. I mean, watching this woman's video yesterday, it's so awful. Even the other woman were fighting for the lawmaker in Cross River State, who was put on the hot seat because he beats his wife.
Okay.
She came out, and after Nigerians had called for his head, she came out and said it was AI. That the video of her that was beaten and put out, and she was literally crying for help in that. You say it was AI. So sometimes, just like you said, it's almost as though they have trained us you have trained us to be, I don't know if to be docile or to be.
That's not the really train us. Before we went into the debate, we want to say something about the minister. You know, when we talk about representation and stereotypes, you know, when you say that a certain group of people are like this, it's not normally that everybody is like that. It's just a few that needs to represent people and all of that. And because their voices are louder, they tend to, you know, equalize the whole group. And so this minister, in fact, that with the moment we said not all the ministers are like that, I've been looking for ministers. And I couldn't find it.
It's a lot of
Communication minister.
No, who's the communication?
What's the name? No, that's for interior.
Okay, I like the interior.
We are struggling.
His name just said.
I mean, we are struggling. Anyway, but let's move on.
Osu Tijani.
Yeah, that carries speak.
But I mean, we are not.
That carries speak. I don't even know what. I mean, are you talking about the Minister of the Economy that is causing problems?
We are not talking about.
Are you talking about the Minister of State for Defense that is causing problems in Biafra State? Are you talking about the Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga?
We're talking about
your presence. We're talking about your presence.
I'm just started really now the number of operators. Anyway,
and then we have about 48 of them, right? Yeah. Okay, so are there a few others?
I can go on and
Investors, has not. Let's go to the papers now. We have the Guardian newspaper right here, and these are the headlines, starting from the reader headlines. ABC criticizes Tinubu over democracy is a gift.
You can see that these people are a bunch of idiots. They make joke of important issues and they are never serious. That is why even we, the Biafrans, must never take them serious. Anything we will do to get out of the Zoological Republic, we will do it. Whatever it will take for us to walk out, to walk away from the Zoological Republic, we must do it. Don't wait for anybody. Do not wait for anybody. Nigeria is not meant for you. Nigeria is not meant for me. This is a deadly environment, a chaotic environment meant for the dead. This is what it means of. Very terrible place that human beings should not be. Nigeria is not meant for you. And I urge you, wherever you are, as a Biafran, the earlier you begin to think of a way out, the better for you. The earlier you begin to think of a way out, the better for you. The Zoological Republic, look at what the Boko Haram is dealing with, every one of them. Boko Haram is dealing with them, seriously, right, left, and center. And they think that we will continue to believe in these people. Believe in them at your own risk. Believe in this Zoological Republic at your own risk. Wherever you are watching this program from. Always remember that Nigeria is not for you. Nigeria is not for me. We must continue to ask for the unconditional release of our Supreme Nnamdi Kanu by fire, by force. These terrorists, these Islamic terrorists, are not ready to do anything. And they will never change. If you think they will change, they will never change. Things will get worse every day. It will get worse. Don't think they will change. They will never change. All they know is to plan how to take your life and destroy you. So, my fellow Biafrans, we are going to meet again tomorrow to dive into another section of these very issues. We will continue, no matter how difficult, even if it is only one person we convert, we will be talking about it. If it's only one or two of us that are listening, we will continue. Consistency is the key. We are not stopping. We will continue to do what we are doing until Nnamdi Kanu is released. Thank you so much for joining this program. I will see you again tomorrow. May Chukwu guide and protect you. Protect every one of you. May Chukwu guide and protect our Supreme Nnamdi Kanu and our Prime Minister. Thank you for being in the program. I see you again tomorrow morning by the grace of Chukwu. We will never stop. No matter what happens, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, we will never ever stop.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abaganazo wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home.